Hello, all, and welcome back to Promises Kept, our Bible study where we're taking a look at 150 promises of God over a 5-month period. And today we are on Promise Kept number 69, found in the Psalms. And it's going to be Psalm 37. There's actually two verses we want to look at. So Psalm 37, 23, and 24 are the ones where we're going to see our promise. And when I gave you the homework, I only said number 24, verse 24. But as I looked at it, I thought, this is another one of those promises that has a spiritual aspect to it, that if you don't look at the spiritual aspect to it, you're going to get a little off track. And if you just look at 24, you don't see the spiritual thing. So I wanted to add 23. So let me do this, and I'm gonna speak 24, and then you're gonna see where there might be confusion. So Psalm 37:24 says, "Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand." So you can see that I'm coming in halfway in the middle of a thought. But if you didn't have the beginning of the thought, you could kind of piece together that it's talking about what God promises that he's going to do for somebody. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord shall uphold his hand. So you can kind of look at it and say, well, isn't it promising that no matter if somebody falls, that God is not going to let him completely train wreck, be cast headlong, because he upholds his hand, that he's going to pick him up out of whatever he's going through. And isn't that what it means? Well, that isn't what it means. The physical aspect of this, though he fall, he shall not be cast long, for the Lord upholds his hand. We know that many people who believe in Jesus fall and they're cast headlong. They fall and they die. They fall, they're martyred. And the Lord upholds his hand. Well, the Lord didn't bring them out of it. So looking at the verse by itself, you might say, that's a promise that's just not true. So we have to go to verse 23 just to see the spiritual aspect of it, to be clear on the spiritual side of this, and then read our verse again. So Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way." So the promise saying that the steps of the Lord are established by the Lord, the steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way, is saying when somebody delights in the way of the Lord, delights in the way of the Lord is another way of saying he's following the Lord. So when somebody delights in the way of the Lord, following the Lord, the steps of that man are established by the Lord. So you're following the Lord, you've committed your life to him, you're submitted to Jesus. The promise here, the guarantee, is that your steps are going to be ordered by the Lord. Whatever you're doing, God is going to guide you into it. If you're following Jesus, if you're following the Lord, then your steps are going to be established by the Lord himself. And that's a pretty great promise. It makes you think, okay, if my steps are established by the Lord, then all those steps are going to be good for me. And again, I'm going to prosper. Everything's going to be great. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to find the right wife. I'm going to find I'm going to find the right that. You could take it too far. So then when you add our promise verse, you're going to see that it's cut down, that whole thought process cut down in our very next verse. The steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. So it's saying the steps of a man have been established by the Lord. He's following the Lord, so the steps are established by the Lord. And though he might fall, so it's saying, even though you're following the Lord and he's established your steps, you might still fall. You might still have trouble. You might still run into wicked people. You might still have problems in your life. So it's giving us a promise. It's saying, yeah, your steps are established, but it's not saying that means that things are going to go smooth. It's saying that though you might fall, he, the man, shall not be cast headlong. And when it says he shall not be cast long, that's the spiritual thing. It's saying you might fall to something horrific on this earth. You might be martyred. Your finances might crash. Your wife or husband might leave you. It might be awful. You might fall, but you shall not be cast headlong. What that means is, spiritually speaking, you are still in the Lord and you still can be guaranteed that you are going to heaven. The Lord upholds your hand. You shall not be cast headlong. That's the guarantee of heaven. That's the guarantee that you're not going to be cast into hell. No matter what befalls you on this earth, because you've been following the Lord and He's established your steps, whatever happens to you on this earth, even if you fall, you will not be cast headlong. You will not be cast into hell. You will go to heaven because He upholds your hand. The Lord upholds you. The Lord is going to shepherd you right into His presence no matter what happens to you on this earth. And I mean after you die. On this earth, you might come into all kinds of tribulation, even though the Lord has established your steps, even though you're following the Lord. Bad, terrible, awful things that might happen to you. You might fall on this earth, physically fall, but spiritually speaking, you'll never be cast headlong. The Lord will never forsake you. He'll never abandon you. You will be with Him forever in heaven. He will uphold you by His mighty right hand. That's your promise, your spiritual promise. And it's an important one to know. It's really important because even though the Lord establishing your steps might lead you into something which makes you fall, it's still a great, great blessing because your steps being established by the Lord means you're right in the middle of His will. Let's just say, God forbid, you are on the mission field like Jim Elliot, and the Lord has established your steps to get you to that Amazon jungle where you're supposed to be sharing the gospel to people who've never heard it before. And that is for sure the established steps that the Lord has had for you. Well, just like what happened to Jim Elliot, you might fall, you might die, you might be murdered, and it might be the end of your life on the earth. But every one of the steps that the Lord had planned for you, they were established. That ministry to those people, the name of Jim Elliot carrying on today, it's still, as terrible as it turned out, it was an established plan of the Lord for that to happen. And still, Jim Elliot is in heaven right now. He was not cast headlong. He fell, he fell on this earth, but he didn't fall after he died. He was standing face to face with Jesus, and I'm quite sure that Jesus was standing, waiting for him with open arms. So that's the promise. That's the promise. Just follow the Lord. Let Him establish your steps, and whether that leads into your demise on this earth, it doesn't matter. Keep following Him. Whether that you're following the Lord leads you into not marrying somebody who is not following the Lord, don't worry about it. That's the established plan for you. It might ruin you relationally to just say, no, I'm only gonna date people who are following the Lord. Let Him establish those steps for you. Follow Him, and you will never, ever be forsaken. You won't be cast headlong, okay? These are just some of the examples of how you want to keep following, even though it might seem on the surface like you're falling. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Spiritually speaking, He'll never let you fall. All right? I hope that makes a little sense of these two verses in Psalms. And I'll see you next time. Bye now.